The claim that there's no such thing as 100% passive income, you either invest your time or your money up front, is a common statement made online. Regardless, passive income remains a popular aspiration for many, especially the pigs, the passive income gurus, selling dreams of working 2 hours a week on a beach in Bali, sipping mojitos while seemingly endless amounts of money rolls in. Now, I'm sure we're all clued up on the fact that what we see online nowadays isn't always reality. So what does it mean for people like me and you who depend on our salaries to survive? And more importantly, with that opening statement in mind, how much time, effort, capital or stress would you actually need to replace a 35 grand per year salary? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the top 3 passive income strategies and compare their capital, time, effort and stress. And by the end of the video, you'll know which strategies work and which ones don't, and why there's simply one approach that stands above the rest. Let's dive in, starting with property. Property is the first thing that comes to mind when people think of passive income, but how passive is it really? Let's break it down using a real-world example. Salford in Manchester, M6 postcode. I came across a 2-bed mid-terrace house sold subject to contract for £200,000. For a buy-to-let purchase, you need 25% deposit, which is £50,000, but that's not the full story, is it? There are also additional costs like solicitor fees, £1,800, advisor fees, £500, lender fees. On a purchase, it's slightly different, but continuous lender fees, probably like 3% of the mortgage loan, which in this case would be £4,500. Stamp duty, 5%, let's say. That's £10,000. Survey, if you wanted to play it safe, £600. All in, you'll probably need around £67,400 to purchase this example property of £200,000. Now let's look at the potential rental income and expenses. Looking online, similar properties in the same area rent for an average of £920 a month. And at the time of recording, mortgage rates for buy-to-let properties is around 5%, which means a monthly mortgage payment would have probably be around £625 on an interest-only mortgage. That leaves you with a monthly profit of £295 or £3,540 annually after covering the mortgage cost. But remember, with property, this is before factoring in maintenance, insurance, potential tenant vacancies, which could further reduce that profit. Now you can probably see where this is going. To achieve the average UK salary of £35,000 purely from the rental profits, you'll need probably around 10 similar properties. That's a total upfront investment of £674,000 just to acquire those properties if you were to do it the same way each time. Plus, you've got the ongoing effort of managing tenants, maintaining the properties, staying on top of landlord regulations, and for most of us, that's not exactly easy money. In fact, if this was to be given a reality check rating, money would be 5 out of 5 because you need significant capital up front to replace the 35 grand salary straight away. Time, you'd need, I'd say a 3 out of 5. Technically, once it's set up for a few years before you'd have to kind of revisit again. And generally, just standard ongoing management. Effort, 4 out of 5. Managing tenants, maintenance, regulations, that takes a lot of work. And if you were to include a letting agent in that, that would also increase the costs, therefore reducing your profit. And stress, I'm going to say, is a 4 out of 5. High stress, especially if things go wrong, again, with tenants, repairs, mortgage rates is the uncontrollable, and so is taxes. So really, there's a lot of uncontrollables. Now, I know what you're thinking. Johnny, what about the stock market? Well, we see this online all the time. Investing in the stock market is one of the most well-known ways to generate passive income, whether you're focusing on dividend-paying stocks or EFTs, which are exchange-traded funds, in case you didn't know. And the idea is simple. You grow a portfolio and you live off the returns. Dividend stocks pay you a portion of their profits regularly, while EFTs allow you to invest in a more diversified basket of stocks. But here's the thing. If you've dived into this yourself, you know you either need a lot of upfront capital or a lot of time to create meaningful income. Think about it. That's why most of us pay into pensions for 30 plus years. If you were to choose investing, for my calculations, to generate £35,000 a year, you'll need a portfolio of about £1 million. at a 4 to 5% yield. So how do we get to £1 million? Well, let's make some assumptions. You're not a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire contestant smashing out all 12 questions without any lifelines. You're not expecting any big inheritance, and you're not putting your hopes on winning the lottery anytime soon. If you saved and invested £10,000 a year, I know, right, 10 grand, for the next 30 years at a realistic 7.5% annual return, that's probably the only thing that's realistic in this section, you'd end up with £1,085,000. For example, if I started now, I'd probably be about 60 by the time I hit that number. And using some big shot quick maths, 1.08 million divided by 30 years will give you roughly £36,000 in income. Brilliant! We did it. But here's the reality. While this strategy is absolutely achievable with discipline, it's a solution that takes decades. Like property, it's a long-term goal, not an immediate fix. And sure, once you've built your portfolio, it is relatively passive, but getting there takes serious time and patience and commitment. Reality check rating for investing, money, I'm going to say is a 4, maybe even a 5 out of 5. High initial capital required to make significant income. Time is a 5 out of 5. It takes years to build a portfolio that produces consistent returns. Effort, I'll probably say a 1 out of 5. Very hands-off after setup with dividends or automated withdrawals. And stress, I'd probably say is a 5 out of 5, to be honest. If you've been down this road before, market volatility can be nerve-wracking, especially in the downturns. Now, do you remember me saying that this video did have a point? So far, we've looked at property, and one glaring theme stands out. These strategies demand a lot of upfront capital, ongoing effort, and most importantly, time. None of them are quick fixes, but what if there was a way to obtain a form of income that didn't require decades of saving or a 6-figure portfolio? A solution that's designed to replace your salary, is affordable, accessible, and there when you need it the most. But before we dive into that, there's one more strategy that we need to uncover. It's another popular option with those pigs that I can already hear them oinking about it. Now here is where things start to get interesting. Side hustles. Side hustles like creating digital products, writing an ebook, or launching an online course can start as active income but eventually become passive. The upfront time, effort is significant. You'll spend months or even years creating content and marketing it, but once it's out there and starts selling, then the income becomes relatively hands-off. Annual returns can vary widely, anywhere from like £1 to 50 grand or even more per year. This all depends on your audience and the product you're actually selling. Now, the reality of this, it takes patience, persistence to get to that point. For side hustles, the reality check rating would look like this. Money, 2 out of 5, low upfront costs, great for beginners. Time, 5 out of 5, very time intensive to build. Effort, 5 out of 5, high effort initially, takes months and years to succeed. Stress, I'd probably say is a 4 out of 5. I'd say there is high stress there, but this is due to the uncertainty of constant effort. Of course, there are other ways that you can earn passive income. For example, renting out assets can be a great way to make some extra cash, whether it's your car, camera gear, power tools. Platforms like Turo or Fat Llama let you rent things out when you're not using them. Sure, it's money for a rope, but you'll need to provide access to the item, maintain it, make sure it doesn't get damaged. But what if you don't have anything worth renting? Then there's royalties, but unless you're Mariah Carey waiting for that annual Christmas paycheck to roll in, then this one's pretty much out of reach for most of us. So I guess it kind of then circles back to what we said before. There's no such thing as 100% passive income. You either invest your time or your money up front. But here's the thing. What happens if something bad happens? You've spent months building your portfolio, grinding on a side hustle, scraping together every penny for your first rental property. And then life throws you a curveball. Suddenly, you can't work anymore. And because you can't work, your income stops. And the harsh truth is, it stops exactly when you need it the most, because if you didn't need it, you wouldn't be working. This is a big problem. Many UK workers don't have the financial safety net beyond minimal SSP, statutory sick pay, which at the minute is about £110 a week. And for a lot of people, that's nowhere near enough to cover the rent, bills, or even basic living costs. And if you're one of the 2 million UK workers who don't even qualify for SSP, then your situation is even worse. It's moments like this where traditional ideas that, as we've discussed, of passive income completely fall apart. Because the reality is, what's the point of creating wealth when you can't protect it when it matters the most? All the time, effort, money, stress that you've poured into building your future can disappear within an instant. Now, I want you to imagine a passive income strategy that's based on your salary. Imagine if something ever happened, an illness or an injury, something that stopped you from working. This strategy pays you a tax-free income. Yeah, your bills covered, your debts covered, your food covered, giving you the time to focus on what matters the most, your recovery. So why don't your pigs talk about this? Well, it's simple. Most of them aren't in the financial industry, they're unqualified, and they're selling you a fantasy, not a solution. Income protection isn't flashy or trendy. You won't see it on Instagram next to the picture of a Lamborghini, but it doesn't make it any less valuable. In fact, for normal people, it might just be the most valuable passive income stream there is. And when we look at the reality check rating, money, 1 out of 5. It costs very little. Time, 1 out of 5. Once it's set up, there's nothing else you need to do. Effort, 1 out of 5. A quick meeting with a professional and you're done. And stress, 1 out of 5. Knowing your income is protected provides you peace of mind like nothing else. For the guarantee and value it provides, income protection is far cheaper, quicker, and safer than any of the passive income dreams us financial nerds are constantly chasing. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-through life without financial disaster solution. If you're looking for a true form of passive income, one that kicks in when you can't work due to illness or injury and is available straight away, income protection is probably the best thing there is. Unlike the traditional passive income strategies we've covered, it doesn't require years of saving, huge amounts of capital, or constant effort to manage. It's available to anyone and everyone, regardless of where you are and your financial journey. And here's the kicker. The income you receive is completely tax-free. That means every pound goes towards your bills, your food, your debt repayments, allowing you to focus on what matters the most, recovering and getting back on your feet. If you have responsibilities of any kind, whether that's rent, mortgage, or family members who rely on your income, or even if you're passionate about passive income, you need an income protection plan. It's not just another financial product. It's a passive income powerhouse designed to protect you when life throws the unexpected your way. So, is income protection right for you? What's the catch, and how do you know if it's worth it? Well, click and watch this next video where I pull back the curtain on income protection and reveal 5 pros and cons you need to know before making a decision. Click here to watch it now.